Hey everybody, Dr. Sean here doing another educational video on biological optimization. Forget just trying to be healthy or losing weight. That's a losing proposition. You want to optimize your health. Your life is falling apart. You're not getting better. This is why I produce this content, to get you to wake up. Okay, here's reality for most of you. You're going to be buying these things, adult underwear, diapers. Why? Because you're going to leak stool and urine. So two biomarkers I want you to be aware of is pooping and peeing, defecation and urination, we say in medical school. All right, I'm going to get into it in this video, how you can poop better and you can pee better and why you want to do that and what you got to do to start paying attention to how you're functioning, how you're living your life. Are you passing gas when you pee? If you are, you're wrong. You're falling apart. If you pass gas, even in any significant manner or amount, when you're defecating, you're wrong and you're diseased and you're falling apart. We're going to get into green urine, why you want it. We're going to get into why your stool has to look a certain way. Do you even pay attention to your stool? Do you track it to say, am I in good shape or am I falling apart? You're falling apart, chances are. Unless you're one of my clients, or if you're not falling apart, I'd like to know what you're doing. You might think you're not falling apart, but unless you are having the things that are going on in this video, you're falling apart. So let's get into it. All right, let's take a look at this. What is this? It's a scene from a senior care center, very nice one, just a few blocks away from my house. And this is pretty much the scene that you see in any senior care facility around the country, probably around the world. So this is their dining room, but I want you to pay attention to this. Okay, look, cloth back seats, very nice, fresh flowers, but look at the vinyl seats. That's not leather, that's vinyl. Why? Because of leaking urine and leaking stool. And it's going to happen to you. If you're peeing, if you're passing gas right now when you're peeing, if a little bit of urine is starting to leak out when you're coughing, you're sneezing, and if it's happening to the majority of people, what is so special about you? You don't think it's going to happen to you. It's going to. So we're going to get into it. You need to avoid leaking incontinent urine, incontinent feces. You want to stay with me in this video, learn about this. But any senior care facility you go to, say, where's your dining room? Can I see your dining room? You'll see these funny chairs, nice chairs, and always vinyl. You can have some fun with the staff. Say, oh, that's vinyl. That's not leather. They're not going to put leather in there because the stool and urine and feces will be too hard because these people, you know, older people are just falling apart. Not going to be you if you do health optimization, bio optimization. So I give content, but the really best way to do this is come to me, get yourself motivated. All right, what's happening is this visceral fat. And we've gone through this before if you've seen my other videos, but it's all this inflammatory fat around your colon, your small intestine, and sadly, even your pelvis, okay? So down lower around your bladder and your rectum is all the same inflammatory fat. So this inflammation is throughout your abdomen, your pelvis, and your colon, and it's causing you to degrade your automaticity, your natural functioning of your gastrointestinal tract. So you got muscle in your abdomen, you've got muscle also within your pelvis, in the muscles here, and you also have muscle in your gastrointestinal tract, in your lining of your colon and your small intestines to induce peristaltic, the movement of food along. It should be automatic. But when those muscles get invaded, just like these muscles have, your smooth muscles in your gastrointestinal tract get infiltrated, invaded with inflammatory fat. The doctors don't know about this. Oh yeah, even the GI doctors, you send it to a GI doctor. They don't know about this inflammatory fat getting in the smooth muscles, and if they do, they don't know what to do about it. They don't even know about visceral fat that's surrounding, it's the largest thing within the GI the GI tract, the abdomen, they're looking at scans all day long. Gastroenterologists looking at it all day long, ignoring it because they're not taught it and they don't know anything to do about getting rid of it. So this is why you follow me, to get rid of this deadly, damaging, inflammatory fat inside of you that's keeping you from pooping and peeing appropriately. Get rid of this and you'll recover that beautiful functionality of your gastrointestinal tract. And this is what you're going to end up with, okay? You're going to end up with a stool that looks like this, okay? Chances are, if you're following me, you don't have a stool that looks like that. It might look more like this, or this one up here, or maybe it looks like that one, or maybe it looks like these down here, or this, or this, or maybe it looks like a type that's not on here, a cow patty. And if you're vegetarian or vegan, chances are you're pooping a cow patty, and you don't want to poop a cow patty. Heads up, if you're vegan and you're vegetarian and you're not dumping like this, you don't have a functional anus. You don't have a good functional GI tract. So I'm bringing this to you. Pass this video on to anybody who's a vegan and vegetarian. This is the kind of stool they want to have. Do you see that pointy tip? That pointy tip? It's called a type 4 Bristol type 4 stool on the Bristol stool chart. Okay, this is not woo-woo stuff from Dr. Sean. Okay, just Google the Bristol stool chart. It's taught in medical school, but most sadly, most of the doctors don't do anything about it. But this is what you want to have. It's normal. Now, they claim this type 3 is normal, but this is from a disrupted microbiome. It's cracky. You want smooth, soft serve, completely digested, appropriately metabolized stool from an optimized microbiome. And if you got cracks and divots and stuff in your stool, you're not there. Okay, you want to have a big, beautiful bowel movement. You want to have a big bowel movement in about 3 to 7 seconds. You don't want to have an extended bowel movement like most people have, where they're hanging out like we used to in the military. It's a military facility. I used to go to the bathroom, and a secure facility, so we weren't allowed to have cell phones. And so people would read magazines while they're sitting, have a defecating, taking a long time to have a bowel movement. So you want to have a bowel movement in about 3 to 7 seconds, like a natural reflex, okay? It should just be easy. It should be no effort, no pushing, no grunting whatsoever. It just should be natural functioning of those smooth muscles, just causing them to be just like a reflex. So 3 to 7 seconds. When you were 2 years old, when you were an infant, when you were 3 years old, that's how fast it was. It was big, beautiful, and fast. And you saw babies. If you raised any babies, you could tell when they have a bowel movement, their faces turn red from the vasodilation, parasympathetic engagement, oxytocin, nitric oxide. They get a smile on the face because it felt so good to them. And it used to feel so good to you, but you've gotten away from it. And eventually, when you're 80 years old, these old people come in and they'd be in the on a stretcher in the ER, laying down like this, talking to me, going, "Oh," and I'd say, "What is bringing you to the emergency room today? What is bringing you to the emergency room, ma'am?" And they'd say, "Oh, if I could only have a bowel movement." They're so weak and tired they can't even hold their heads up because their muscles are so filled with fat. They're so filled with inflammatory visceral fat, and their anus and their gastrointestinal tract have all that inflammatory fat in their walls, and they can no longer even move stool through it, and they're all backed up. So that's what's facing you. Doctors don't talk to you about it. Guess what? Your doctor's having the same thing happen to them because they don't know how to prevent this. So you want to avoid this situation around bowel movement, 3 to 7 seconds. It should feel so good. It should be like an orgasm. You want to have that kind of a fantastic feeling. You want to be nice and easy about it. And the problem, beginning even before visceral fat, is a disrupted microbiome. So these are the cells, the microvilli, finger-like projections off the walls of your intestinal tract. Your colon, you have these microvilli, and these epithelial cells line these microvilli projections, your gastrointestinal tract. And their epithelial cells are really the same cells that are on your skin. And if you think about it, it's one continuous layer of surface. Skin, 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 and epithelial cells all the way into your oropharynx, down your gut, into your gastrointestinal tract, and right to your anus. Okay, those epithelial cells are a continuous sheet. And it's how you interact with the world. Awesome stuff. Got a good, healthy microbiome on your skin. You metabolize better things on your skin that you're meant to be metabolizing, that you don't metabolize because you're using soap and chemicals. And you don't optimize it with the sun because you're using soap, you're using chemicals and sunscreens, and you avoid the sun. So all this nonsense that conventional medicine, espouses the wrong stuff. And you don't have a good microbes in your gut, so you're not producing these species are either going to produce good things, good metabolites that help you as their host, or they're going to produce bad ones that are going to harm you and hurt you and kill you. So you want to learn about the microbiome and what these things do living down there, because that's the first thing that goes wrong. And the first expression we see is visceral fat, fat in the muscles, and fat within the deep subcutaneous space, and fat around your heart. So I've been working on optimizing my microbiome, getting rid of all my visceral fat, all my fat in my muscles, and my deep subcutaneous fat. I'm 61 years old. Never taken a hormone. Never taken any gear. I have a great physique, and I have a great lifestyle. At the age of 61, I'm living better than any other 61-year-old. And if you know a better 61-year-old in terms of how they're living, let me know about them, because I'd like to find out who he or she is and what they're doing. But this is why I produce this content, and this is why I'm a health optimizing physician and getting the best results in the world, because I've studied this for over a decade, what you got to do to get really better. Why I've lost a huge amount of money, because that's what I paid attention to, is optimization humans instead of optimization Sean O'Mara's bank account. So lost a lot of money. So you want to pay attention to the microbiome. It's super important. And you want to avoid these long stays in the gastrointestinal tract. And what you really want to do is you want to change your perspective on how you defecate. Okay, this is a natural posture. See these guys? Their heels are flat on their ground. Do you see that? They squat with their legs up against them in natural position. And they eat and drink and sit around. They don't sit around, they squat around. It's called the primal squat. And I can show you what it looks like with me, okay? Primal squat. This is me. Several years ago, I learned how to do this. I trained to do it. I have videos on the primal squat. You can Google primal squat, Sean O'Mara, and I give you some tips how to do that. But this is what you want to do. Heels flat on the ground. Most people have their heels up because their joints are so bad. They cannot squat like this. And it's unfortunate, but it's a great position to be in because it will help favor the proper position for you to defecate. This is the natural. If you're out camping trip, you got no bathroom, sit your butt down on a toilet, then this is how you'd be squatting out in nature. And by the way, this is how you should be squatting on a toilet. I do not put my precious buttocks on a public bathroom where filled with pathogenic, obesogenic butts that have sat down on that. And I don't care how much toilet paper you put on there, you're going to get that. So I put my feet, my shoes up on that toilet rim, and I don't use that seat because that's where we're going to be higher level. I use the toilet rim, and that's how I defecate. So one thing you can do to until you learn how to defecate yourself on a toilet like this is you can get a squatty potty. So a squatty potty is kind of an intermediate step. It's like what you can do to kind of partially get your feet up there and your knees a little bit higher. And when you get in that kind of position when you're really up in an appropriate primal squat and like a position of more fundamental defecation, a very primal form of defecation, you relax your pubic rectalis muscle. But if you're pooping against a tense pubic rectalis muscle, you're going to wear that muscle out, and it's just not relaxed. When you get in that primal squat position, it decreases the tone and opens it up and allows you to have a proper bowel movement. Okay, so you got to recover how you poop, how you defecate. Another step you can take once you're ready to avoid using or move on from the squatty potty is you get a walker and walk it in there, and you put your hands up on that, and you can steady yourself up there so you don't fall off a toilet because you got such poor balance because you're still recovering from all the visceral fat that you have inside you. All right, so this is how I go to the bathroom. Normally, now my house, I don't mind, but so I'm barefoot there because I got nothing but healthy people in my home. I better, right? Because I'm a health optimized physician. But in public, you're going to want to wear shoes, and you want to get that lid up because that's going to be rife with obesogenic, pathogenic microbes off of just unhealthy people. Average people are super healthy. You want my microbes, but for most people, you don't want their bad microbes, so don't defecate in that particular manner with bare feet on a seat. All right, let's get into the second biomarker. I talked about how we're going to get into green pea. This is my green pea. Now, it'll start out more brighter yellow. You'll go from dingy yellow to brighter yellow as you get more healthy, and then eventually turn yellow-green, eventually kind of a fluorescent green. So my pea isn't always fluorescent green. It vacillates. So if I eat grain-fed meat, which has less of the B vitamins and compounds and nutrients, omega-3s, of grass-fed, grass-finished meat, then I get more of a dingy yellow color. So you want to get more green color by getting more grass-fed, healthier meat with a lower level of steatosis, lower levels of marbleization. So grain-fed meat is great. It'll have a higher nutritionist content and compounds. And in particular, cut of meat that's very rich with these compounds is grass-fed, grass-finished liver from a trusted animal. I eat it raw. And when I eat within 1 hour of that consumption, it's a big bioflex, okay? Big bioflex doing something really healthy, okay? Taking a piece of meat like liver, grass-fed, grass-finished, and turning it into green urine. So when I eat the grain-fed, I can't do it as well as when I eat grass-fed. And you could eat the same grass-fed liver, and you may not be able to do it until you get your microbiome more healthy. And remember, it's that those microvilli in the microbiome that's really doing the work, because it allows you to get such optimal levels of those compounds out of the meat that you get way more than you need. And because they're water-philic, they're water-soluble, they don't stay in your body. They go out with your urine. Fat-soluble compounds get stored in fat. Water-soluble compounds get used where they're needed immediately, and the excess gets eliminated through your urine. So that is where it starts. The magic happens inside your gut. The healthier your microbiome, the healthier your gut, the more you can do that bioflex of making that green pea. And remember, it's not going to happen overnight. My clients slowly get it, and so I don't see anywhere else. A couple people on the internet have reported it as well. But basically, when you start doing my strategies that you get when you come and work with me, I give you many more, not just the 7 or 8 that I had on my Instagram account, but I give you 48 and way more because that's my business. I optimize it, but I'm not going to give it all away because it's a waste on the internet. People won't do it. They say they will, but they don't. They got to come here, stand in front of me, and I got to convince them how bad off they are. And they can't convince them through the internet, and that's why you don't come. A few of you do, but I've got more doctors now, so I can take more people. So come on, bring it on. If you want to optimize your life, you want to get rid of disease, You want to have beautiful stool. Avoid having incontinence when you're later. You don't want to pass gas when you're peeing. You don't want to be leaking later in life. Then you want to come to me and get started on your ultimate optimization plan. All right, so that urine is the second biomarker you want to be paying attention to. You want a very strong pee stream, okay? I jokingly tell my clients I could pee over the hood of a car. I'm back to peeing like a teenager. It sounds like Niagara Falls. I go into public bathrooms. I don't use a urinal. I use the stall, and people are in there wondering, like, God, it sounds like there's a horse back there. And I know if there are other people, other guys in that bathroom, I know what will happen. When I walk out of that stall, invariably, this is what I get. I look like this. People are looking like, who the heck was that? I don't sound like that. That's crazy. And because I'm not forcing it. This just happened. It's like, it's a reflex. It's just a release. I don't have to push. I used to have to push. God, I'd have to push and like adjust. When I was 48 and I'm moving around, if you got that problem, you're like, God, I thought there was a big emergency. I head to the bathroom, ain't nothing coming out. And then no matter what you do, it's just dribbling, okay? All that completely changed. Now it's the Niagara Falls because I got rid of this inflammatory fat that I get into with my consultations. You come on, or now through the Ultimate Start Plan, if you're really motivated, you do one scan. We teach you what you got to do through the Ultimate Start, and that's another way of getting into us. All right, so if you like this video, pass it on to somebody else. Follow me, Dr. Sean O'Meara, at Dr. Sean O'Meara on multiple social media accounts, Instagram, Twitter, X, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Threads, and also Rumble. So you can find me in all these platforms. And also you can follow me on a new initiative I'll be getting into more and more called The Alpha Bot, okay? I can only work with so many people one-on-one, but through The Alpha Bot, I'm going to be able to work with many, many other people through better concepts and courses and videos and things like that. So we'll get into that. You can start following me on Alpha Bot. It's being slowly introduced, and I'll be sharing more about that in the future. And also my partner, the Primal Bot, Candy Frazier, is awesome. So follow Candy Frazier is another great follow on social media, and you get started. If you're not going to work with me, work with Candy. She is awesome. So just want to give a shout out to Candy, and we'll be collaborating together on the Alpha Bot. Okay. So as always, if you got comments and questions, put them in the textbook in the comment section below. And I love questions. I love comments. I like to engage. I like engagement with my audience. And if you like this, please share it with other people. And if you really liked it, consider becoming a client. You're falling apart. I can reverse that. If you're a business person, you own your own business, for God's sakes, talk to your accountant about getting a tax deduction or write-off. Use as a necessary business expense to optimize your health. Come and see me. I'll make you look better. I'll make you perform better. All right. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully you stayed with me throughout this video, and we'll see you on more content. Dr. Sean out.